invite our partners to share a bit about some of the patterns and practices that we talked about and have been explored locally. So I will ask a few questions. In Gen, we guide our work through the map of regeneration. It is a tool to explore regenerative education in 5 areas: social, ecology, culture, and economy. These 4 big ones, plus integral design that brings them all together. And we prepared one question touching each dimension to start mapping out these patterns and practices. So I'm going to start with social. And the question is, how do you create community within and around your school or your project? And the mic is open to our partners. Whoever would like to share about it, please feel free to do so.
Thank you, Thaisa. Here, Camila, connecting from Colombia, Uva Quincel de Feliz. Super grateful to be here, sharing and getting so much inspiration and connectedness through this like global family. So very happy to be here. Also very happy to talk about community building. It's kind of one of my passions and Gen passions as well. But I also think it has like the seed of transformation for everyone, even if it's not in the Ecovillage movement, because I think that the root of this is we build communities around shared purposes. We are all very diverse. We all have some different priorities, but when we discover what is that brings us together and we can put that in the center, we can always realign our conflicts. We can realign our transformations in structure, bringing to the center that we all have agreed to take care of, to hold, to empower. And this shared purpose of empowering a new generation and ourselves, giving space, attention, the right tools to gain confidence to transform the human presence on Earth is a really powerful purpose. So I feel our communities are very strong because that shared purpose allows us to like navigate through diversity into like gaining that common ground. So I also think that being in service of a common purpose that is so alive and so powerful also puts us in a position to be very self-aware and self-responsible, or where are the places where I block life, where I have judgment, where I have preconceived ideas, and really do this personal journey of de-learning to be able to be more open to what life needs from us. So I also believe that creating community is a commitment to go through my own internal process to really be in service of something bigger. So I really rooted in this social dimension because I think is the one of the places where we can do the big transformation to allow what life needs from us. So that one perspective I wanted to share.
Thank you, Camila. And I invite another partner if you feel like to share on the same question on social. Let's see if someone else.
Hi, everyone.
Great.
I can say something. So this is Karina from Brazil in Kids School. I was hearing Camila, and I just wanted to give a complementation about what she said. when we start here in the school, the project-based learning, where children learn what they want to learn about life, we saw that the parents and everyone around in the Ecovillage should be part of it, because learning, it's beautiful. It should be a pleasure to learn, not how we see in the traditional schools. So we invite the parents to be part of the learning process about discovering the world, in children with sense of wanting to learn something and keeping this curiosity alive. So the parents are tutors in the projects. I just wanted to give a dimension more concrete. It was beautiful what Camila said. And like in the concrete here in the school, whatever the parents know, they choose a project about cooking typical food from Bahia, the state where we are at. So there's a parent who is from here and he knows how to cook. So he comes to the school and learn these recipes and cook with the children, and all this learning makes sense, makes community sense. So I just wanted to say like more, and there's of course the whole methodology about how we do the projects here, but the key is everyone involved on this project, on what we are doing here with the children, because we learn all the time. We don't learn only in the school when we are seated, writing something and listening to someone. This is what we learn, that it's learning, but it's not. We learn every day, every time in connecting with people. So this kind of paradigm gives the possibility for us to learn even more, to have this look about the learning process, a bigger look. So I just wanted to share this. Thank you.
Thank you, Karina. And I don't know if any other partner would like to share on social, or otherwise we just move to ecology. Yes, Veronica.
Well, I would just share as well this idea of accessibility, and for us, the way we create community around the schools and projects that come to learn from us is creating an environment that is not only accessible, but that's meaningful for the school groups that come and for the teachers that come to learn, whereby it's meaningful in the sense that they can see and understand what is happening and engage and feel connected to what is happening in our Ecovillage, and therefore it allows them to imagine themselves also making changes in their own community and bringing back the ideas that they see and engage with to their own communities. So in that sense, I feel what we do is it's actually empowering people to believe and see that it's possible to enact changes and learn in their own communities by that accessibility. So just add that.
Great. Thank you. Thank you all. And I'm going to move to ecology. And the question in ecology, just to acknowledge there are other project partners around. So let's see how the team will organize us. And the question in ecology is, what role does nature play in your work? I don't know if any of you would like to start. And we also open the circle to the other project partners.
Yeah, I can come in.
Of course, dear Charles, please.
So the role nature plays in our institute or our projects and activities. We are Ghana Permaculture Institute, and we follow and mimic nature in all our agricultural activities that we do. In the sense that when you look at how the forest is, the forest, no one waters the place, no one fertilizes that area, no one sends pesticide, no one does anything, but the soil is so good, the soil is so nice to produce whatever we need. It is able to produce edible mushroom, nice mushrooms for us to eat, get us some herbs. So we mimic this in our degraded land, 24.5 acre degraded land, and then see whether if we don't apply the synthetic chemicals and all those things, whether we can mimic nature and truly looking at the natural principles, the permaculture principle, we have been able to create a system where things grow by itself. We are rehabilitating the land. We realize that soil is not something different. Soil is just organic matter, water, minerals that has been decomposed. Then we get something, a good fertile soil. So that is plant, that helps plant growth. So it's lovely to see how nature works and then to understand nature and then where things can grow. So in terms of the ecology, we produce a lot of stuff, food crops, through the natural system.
Thank you, dear Charles. Any other project partner would like to share on ecology? What role does nature play in your work, in your school, in your project? Otherwise, we will move on.
Hello. I would love to share on this. Greetings also to my partner, Lorian. So in our learning space, we regard nature also to be sort of the more than human force in our space. So also looking at nature as in the nature that we can't see or that's not observable by our bodies. And in work with young people, I can only share one small part. In work with young people and old people, I can say, specifically looking at how there's this biological moment that happens when we put ourselves deeply in nature, that our nervous system actually rests in the nervous system of nature. So if you're in the forest, there's something that happens with your nervous system biologically where it rests, it actually slows down, it becomes more perceptible, it becomes more more aware, you become more gentle. And if we speak about what does this do for education, you can imagine an education that is very much like the industrial machine. So you're going through fight or flight, you're going through all the stress. So that makes learning, it makes learning a very different experience. Whereas if we move out of the classroom into nature, we find that nature sort of invites a biology that is more susceptible to learning, more susceptible to listening, more susceptible to understanding. And that's just one very brief share of how nature sort of plays a massive role in education and learning.
Sorry, I was muted. Thank you. Thank you so much. Yeah, okay, so now we are moving to economy. Can you share, could one of you share an example of regenerative economy in your school, in your project?
Okay, I can share something about the economy.
Charles.
Yes, so we have this social ecology. Sometimes all these things, there are things we do to help each other, preserving nature and then also supporting the human life. The economy in our system is looking at, we have economic needs. We need money. We need to obtain a yield. So in one of the principles in permaculture, I think the third principle, it says that you must obtain a yield in everything that we do. And then a yield, it should be able to generates an economic benefit to your system. Therefore, in our system, we are able to add value to our agricultural produce, because making a yield, that is, the ecology should be able to create a yield for us. And then this yield, a value should be added that will bring certain economic impact. Therefore, we have one plant like moringa plant. We are able to cultivate this moringa plant organically, harvest this moringa plants, and then process them into powder, the leaves into powder. We sell them, export them. We also distill moringa seeds, that is, with the seeds into oil. And then we have moringa oil that is used in cosmetics and then also some other purposes. And mushrooms are also something that we cultivate. It is waste that we gather this waste. We learn from ecology that we get mushrooms from dead woods. So we use sawdust. Sawdust are wood chips. We compose these wood chips, and then we generate, we create, and we get mushrooms from this, which also brings certain income to our system. And as part of regenerative economy in our system, we are able to create a small savings and loans within our project or our system, the farmers we're working with, and then our own staff, which we call Ghana Permaculture Loans and Savings Scheme. It is we, the people inside, within the community, the farmers we're working with, we want the money that we generate from agricultural product to circulate within ourselves. Therefore, the money that is not used by someone should be kept for the whole community, so that if someone is in need of that money, the person can borrow this money, use it, and then by the time other person would need money to support the other projects, maybe the others has also contributed, and then we give it to some other person else. So this is how our economy aspect is moving, coming from value addition, and then also internally generating funds and supporting each other.
Thank you so much, Charles. Any other project partner would like to share about economy? Or, yeah.
Well, I can share. I didn't introduce myself. I'm sorry, I came in late. I had a problem with the time. I'm Veronica, and I'm in Clough-Jordan Ecovillage in Ireland. And we've been around for about 20 years. And for us, regenerative economy is absolutely at the core and center of what we do, because we're looking to sustain ourselves in our project so that people can come and learn from us and what we do. So similar to what Charles has described, we have a farm on site in the Ecovillage, which is supported by all the members of the project. The members of the project support the farm financially, but also in a volunteer capacity. They give of their time when the farm needs at the time, and also during times of plenty, we share the extra harvest amongst the community. So there's a sense of coming together during hard times and lean times, and then sharing when there is abundance. There's a huge focus on supporting small businesses within the Ecovillage. So we have a local baker based in Ecovillage, and the community supports the baker to ensure that their livelihood is sustained and they're able to produce bread for the community. And similarly, other smaller initiatives like we have an apple orchard, and the community comes together to harvest the apples during the harvest time and add value and to the products that we harvest. So there's this similar to, as Charles described, this focus on what value is being created, but also sharing time in times when things are are hard and sharing their hardship amongst each other within the community as well.
Thank you so much, Veronica. And now we are moving into culture. And I will invite one of our partners to share a story in which regenerative culture is exemplified in your school or in your project, educational project. Whoever is ready to share.
Okay, maybe I can share something.
Thank you, Charles.
Yeah, so with a culture, I know in some years back, we have a culture that different cultures, and in one of a certain, sometimes Fridays, women, most of the time we don't have pipes and all those, and so they have to go to the riverside to fetch water. So we have some days that they said it's a culture that no woman visits that river on that day, because if you visit that river on that day, something bad might happen to you. The reality is the elders have sat down and realized that women were suffering every day moving to the riverbank to get water and then bring them home. So they have a selected day that they have provided that women do not go there. So on that day, they will have to stay. In terms of our culture, people have different background and then how they live. And then sometimes they want to see life, how they can fulfill their life, how they can share their stories, and how they can really live a full-fledged life. Therefore, in our institute, we have a space where maybe in the night, when we are having projects or when we want to develop things, in the night, we set fire beside maybe some Fridays, and then we all share what is in our mind, what we want to do, what we feel like it's good to share, some experience you have gained and all that. And those who are also religious, who also believe in other religious bodies as well, we create space for these people to also connect with their higher purpose. Therefore, we have spaces where those who are Christians will have to worship their Christianity, Muslims, where they can, religious bodies. All of us, sometimes we come together, we all move that kind of religious system. And other people have individual cultures as well, where we appreciate, and then we have local dance and then local songs that people, when they sing from their own dialogue, when they sing from their own language, sometimes they feel so proud. Therefore, we learn all these things as diverse individuals. Then we try to appreciate each other's culture within our institute. So that is how we are really connecting with nature, connecting with spirituality, and also promoting each other.
Thank you. Okay, any other voice, or it's time to move to integral design?
Can I jump in here with the culture? I just want to very briefly share. So specifically in talking about like how we exemplify culture or regeneration of culture, in our practice, we have this sort of very visceral word called unschooling, and it meets somebody's body with like, oh my God, what do you mean unschooling? It's very reactive. And what does this sort of evoke for us is basically this culture around schooling and education, and understanding its history, understanding its assumptions, and I think where it really meets regeneration for us. One of the sort of ethoses of regenerative culture for me is literally not assuming what is best, but developing a relationship with wherever you are. So if it were land, not just going in and like destroying the land and assuming that you are doing good because you're planting there. No, it's more about like understanding what this land is, what is the biological makeup or bacterial makeup, what grows here, how can I be supportive of what this land is showing up with. If we had to take this into education, I think a lot of education in the industrial model assumes that it knows what's best for the young person. It knows, it holds the power, it holds control, and it assumes sort of a sense of superiority. And how it sort of meets regeneration for us is, as we don't assume we know the best with regard to how knowledge shows up with young people, and our pedagogy or our way of engaging education is more through questioning and developing a sense of relationship with the young person. And from this relationship, there's this interesting natural thing that happens that all of us sort of have an experience with in this room, is that we learn through the affinity of connection, belonging, and love, such as we learn from our grandparents, we learn from our trees, we learn from animals, due to the relationship that we capacitate with these sort of entities and with these, people or more than humans. And yeah, that's how we sort of meet regenerative spaces or regenerative culture with education.
Thank you, Tivan. That's really inspiring. And I feel like now you all can see how systemic is the regenerative approach to education. So we're not here talking about teachers and classrooms, but we are like expanding the school frontiers and exploring all aspects of life around education. So now I'm moving to the final question on integral design. How do you spread core patterns of regeneration in your daily activities? And I would love to hear from someone in the circle who have been quiet. Let's see if one of the partners who did not speak. And of course, if it's burning, you can just open your mic and share. The floor is open. I feel some people are willing to be quiet today.
Hi, I can say something. So we have lots of rhythms in the morning where the children can practice this regenerative approach. So we have every day the first circle where we can make a minute of silence, where the children start meditating, start getting in touch with this inner voice when we silence ourselves. We have this part where one of the children knows and says what we're going to do on the day, because they have a big schedule. So in this way, they practice autonomy in the process because they know what we're going to do. They are part of the day, the design of the day. So this is a tool of autonomy for them as well. We have this altar where we have cards and little rocks and symbols from the nature, where children bring up to the school and makes their representation, their spiritual representation on that place. It's a little place in the classroom. So every day we look at it, we bring, if they want, we can bring some of these rocks and symbols and put in the center of the round. We are always connecting with this kind of approach, spiritual approach. And in the end of the day as well, we have this moment where children, they make a self-evaluation about their emotions. So they can write something about how they felt on that day. They can make mimics. We have lots of different types of approaches. It depends on the day. We have this flexibility approach where the teacher, by observing the day, what happened here, he can always rely to this context. We don't believe that education should be something that it's stuck and we have to do because we have to do. As our friend said before, why? So this questioning, when the educator has this questioning, he's really open to connect with that reality. So for me, this is a big regenerative action about teacher, where how the teacher puts himself, herself in this relationship. So always, of course, giving like being a facilitator, but giving lots of space for the children to express themselves, to elaborate their knowledge with autonomy. Also, this is what I wanted to tell you.
Thank you so much. Any other voice? Before we move on, anyone who would like to share? Camila.
Laureen, did you open your mic?
Yeah,
Yeah,
maybe
I have.
Let's hear first from Gloria. You have been too quiet today.
I think just to build on what Camilla and Shivani said around our processes, and I think in the broader sense, what allows us to practice those aspects of regeneration in our daily activities is the major shift from being outcome focused to being more process focused. So because we are celebrate process driven approach, whether it's in ourselves or for the young people, this allows us to have more agency as people. So we're not we don't have this top-down pressure of ticking certain boxes. And I think that that allows an opening into regenerative practice on a broader scale and a microcosm scale as well, within the day-to-day activities. And then I think what it also means is that we just stay in touch with, because there's this agency, we stay in touch always with what we love to do. And then that also drops down into the children as well. They stay in touch with what they love and what they love to do. But that's just in a broader sense of how we approach it. Thanks.
Thank you. And Camila.
Yeah, I also wanted to share we also do a lot of feedbacking during the school. At the end of the day, the kids with the companions have spaces to close. And we also do this every month with all of the parents from the school and all of the collaborators. And I think this way of going into the feedback of what's working, what can be improved, really allows us to not get stuck in the mentality of being right or wrong or fixed results, but to really allow life, the life in our environment and the life within each one of us to inform the process, very much like Laureen was saying. Because we are giving birth to something that is new, to a presence of human presence on earth that is new, is really important for us to leave a lot of space to hear that feedback from the world and to allow new information in, to allow the experience of each individual to feed into our understanding of how to build on our strengths, how to go to our needs and resource them better. So yes, I think this practice of constant feedbacks and not having to plan, like to imagine what's going to happen in the future, what would be the best thing, but to allow life to inform, but be always very present and very willing to show up for the things that are sitting well within you, but also the things that are not sitting very well, and to have the courage to bring them up, but also to be empowered to bring about the solutions or how to do it better. It's I found a very powerful tool to recognize patterns and allow new information to keep coming in.
Thank you. Okay, so we have a few more minutes before moving forward. I'll just open the mic to any partner that would like to compliment, share anything else about patterns or practices of regenerative education in your school. I can just say, it's a taste, just a very brief moment for us to share about what we have been exploring together for a year. And we really hope that you can get a sense of how amazing, rich, and diverse was our journey.